What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Jay Iron with Iron Will Performance, and today I'm just going to be sharing a little more information about the swim portion of a triathlon. So, quick recap on Course 101. You learned that the swim is the first of the 3 events. You now know that you're going to need to learn freestyle swimming, and you're probably going to need to buy a wetsuit. Now, some people have asked me, are there any scenarios where you may not want a wetsuit? The only one I can think of is if you're an experienced triathlete, maybe you're gunning for a podium spot that day, you're doing a shorter swim, maybe a sprint distance, about 500 meters, and you don't want to take the extra time to peel that wetsuit off at T1. It could be 30 seconds, and at that level, every second counts. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're probably not at that level, so buy the wetsuit. Alright, so now let's do a quick gear check for this swim. But first, you're going to need a pair of goggles. Just to give you an idea, these are $20, and these are like the top of the line tier goggles. These are polarized lenses. They're anti-reflective. It's got the double strap in the back for a little bit of added support. I've never had a problem with these. Never had water leaking in the sides, and I would recommend going with the anti-reflective and the polarized lenses, because in an open water swim, if it's a sunny day and you turn up to take a breath, you might get blinded by the sun. So this is like wearing a pair of sunglasses in the water. It's great. Next, you're going to need a swim cap. This is just my training cap. You'll get a race issued swim cap for your race, but I would recommend training with a swim cap because you're going to be wearing one on race day, and you want to be comfortable in the equipment that you're going to be wearing during the race. So you might as well train with it. Next is just some earplugs. This is optional. I'm a wuss. I need earplugs. I hate water in my ears. So this is more of a comfort thing. If in training you don't mind not wearing them, then don't wear them. All right, next is the wetsuit. This is very important. This is a full sleeve wetsuit. You can also get them in sleeveless form. The sleeveless will be a little easier to swim in. It's less pressure on your shoulders during your stroke. But keep in mind your arms are going to be exposed to the water temperature then. So if it's a cold day, it may not be comfortable. Also, the sleeveless won't give you as much buoyancy. It's going to give you a lot, but maybe 10% less. So, you know, I only have a full sleeve. If you have the luxury of owning both, I would recommend that. So you have that option to switch it in and out based on the race, maybe what time of year it is, things like that. You know, if you're just going out and buying your first one, probably buy the sleeveless. It'll be a little easier to swim in. All right, finally, is what equipment are you going to be wearing underneath the wetsuit, your apparel for all 3 events? This is a Trisuit. Now this is a 1-piece Trisuit. You can get it in 2-piece as well. But notice, you know, it's very form-fitting. This is wicking material, and you've got a pad in the back. And this is the most important piece because you can jump right out of the water, peel your wetsuit off. This thing will be bone dry. You can even swim with this on if you wanted. And like if you don't want to wear a wetsuit. And you can jump right on the bike, and you have that nice padding right where you want it in the back and on the underside. And you can jump right on the bike and have plenty of comfort. And on top of it, the padding isn't very thick. It's thick enough to give you the support you need, but it's not thick enough to inhibit your run. Where if a padding is too wide, you'll be uncomfortable as your legs are moving during the run. This is designed perfectly for all 3 sports, and that's what you're going to want. Now you can get that in a 2-piece or 1-piece. Really, it's just preference. The 2-piece maybe will bind up more underneath the wetsuit, whereas the 1-piece is one fluid design. It won't do that. But the 1-piece is a little hard to go to the bathroom in, so it's really your call. Probably one of those things like with the wetsuit where if you have the luxury of owning both and you have that option before the race, it's a good thing. So again, that one's up to you. But you know, people ask me, why can't I just wear a pair of gym shorts, you know, and a wicking shirt? Well, that's fine, but it's not really designed for all three sports, and you're probably going to be uncomfortable mainly on the bike. So I would invest in some triathlon related apparel, like a Trisuit and a one-piece or two-piece. All right, so next I want to talk about the different swim start types in a triathlon. The most common is a wave start, where you're classified by your age and your gender, and that's what dictates what wave you're started. You'll get a different color swim cap based on what wave you're in. And just a couple of tips. You want to stand in the back of your wave if you're new. It'll be a little less chaotic, a little less intimidating if you're in the back. It doesn't really give you an advantage time-wise to start at the front. Your race doesn't start until you cross that timing pad. Also, beware that you might have to wait quite a while before your wave gets called to start. I've had to wait for over an hour before. So stay loose, do some stretches. A lot of venues will let you jump in the water and do a warm-up swim even while the race is going on. So make sure you take advantage of that. The less common is the mass start, where everybody of all ages and all genders, everybody starts at the same time. So again, just like in the wave, make sure you stay in the back of the mass of people if you're not comfortable being in the front. And just stay relaxed, stay loose, and don't buy into all the chaos and intimidation that may be a factor in that mass start. Also, with the wave and the mass starts, you could either be starting on the beach, where you run into the water to start the race, or you could be like a floating start, where you're already in the water and then the gun goes off and you start your race. So if it's a beach start, don't sprint into the water and risk twisting your ankle or something at the beginning of the race. It's a long race, take your time. If it's a floating start, just float on your back, stay loose, and once the gun goes off, turn over and start your race. Alright, so in this last section, I'm going to give you guys some tips both in race and in training. So in race, during the swim, don't panic. Keep your heart rate low. It's a long race. If you swallow water, or if you get kicked, or you get bumped, just pull off to the side, get out of traffic, maybe turn over on your back, take some deep breaths, and when you're ready, jump back in. Keep your goggles tucked in underneath your swim cap. That way, if you get kicked or you get bumped, you don't risk losing your goggles and having to swim the rest of the race without them, or scrambling and trying to find them. It's not worth it. Just keep your goggles tucked in underneath your swim cap. Also, just take it easy. Don't go out and try to kill the swim. Like I said earlier, it's a long race. The swim's really only 15% of a triathlon, so just pace yourself. And last, stay on course. You'll see buoys lining the swim course. Know the course. You'll get a map of that swim course before your race. Just observe where the buoys are. Make sure you know which side of the buoys you're supposed to be swimming on. If you stay on course, you'll save yourself a lot of time. Alright, so some tips in training. Just know the length of the pool that you're training in. Like if it's 25 yards, that's the most common. Or maybe you're training in an Olympic-sized pool, which is 50 meters. So just know the length. It does kind of help to know some of your numbers distance-wise. Although at first I would focus on duration rather than distance. But it is nice to know the distance. Also in training, don't just go and swim the distance required for the event you're training for. Mix it up. Like if you're training for a sprint and it's a 500-meter swim, don't just go and do a 500-meter swim and call it a day, at one speed. Change up your speed. Do some fast-paced intervals. Mix it into your aerobic intervals as well. Also mix in some swimming drills. I think you could benefit a lot from that. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out some more at ironwillperformance.com or the YouTube channel. God bless.